Many will agree that trading can be torture, but what if I told you that being tortured was the key to me finding out what it took to be a successful trader? I'll share with you the story in today's podcast. But before we get into it, do me a favor. If you haven't done so already, make sure you leave this podcast a rating and a review. Also, make sure you check out our new Trader Coffee Break podcast. That's with me and Jason Greystone. The same great comment you get on YouTube on Wednesdays is now in the podcasting multiverse. So check it out on your favorite app. Leave a rating and a review for that podcast as well, and be in the running to win a free Tier 1 trading membership. All right, let's hop in. George says, I plead the fifth while he's wiping the blood off his torture devices. That's how I always picture, like, one-on-one mentorship. I watch a lot of, like, spy movies. We were just watching Jack Ryan. He was getting tortured. So I'm picturing, like, newer traders. This would be another cool video if we ever got back into doing funny videos and having fun. This is before we got serious, right? I mean, when the business was smaller, we had a lot of time to be fun. Picturing newer trader, like, tied up in, like, a torture chair, like a James Bond, and the trading coach comes over. What's your rules-based plan? And they're trying to lie, like, yeah, I have rules. Yeah. Look for structure. And then, like, George comes up. What time frame? What time frame are you looking for structure? You can tell the trader's lying. They're like, tell me the truth, Jack. Tell me the truth. For the 4 hour? You just said the hourly yesterday. And then he whips out like, pops a finger off. Don't lie to me. Do you have rules? Do you have rules? That's great, right? It is exactly like that. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell the story real quickly. Of course, when I say real quickly, I'll take as much time as I want. But so I don't think I've told a story to many of you guys. When I first, I was a pretty bad trader, inconsistent, all normal rookie trader stuff that I would do, right, when I first got started. And I was taking time. It's funny, I just put out a little short video this morning talking about purposeful practice and how so many traders are wasting time just browsing the internet, watching stuff, and just because you watch it, you think you learn it and it's useful and you go and blow money. So I was in that phase of my trading. I wasn't in my... I was going between unconscious incompetence, where I don't know what I don't know. So that's like new baby, everything is new, to kind of conscious incompetence, right? I was at the point where I knew I didn't know stuff, but I didn't really know what I needed to learn, right? You guys ever been there? I mean, we all go through the 4 stages, but have any of you guys been there recently or can remember those phases? Again, unconscious incompetence is like, ooh, trading is new, like, everything is cool. Oh, this, that, blah, blah, blah. This is also awesome. I'm going to just, follow a random signal and trade it. Oh, look, that's a double top. I'm going to trade it. And then conscious incompetence typically comes after that phase, because like you do all the stuff and you lose money and you're like, wait a minute, maybe it's not that easy. Like, maybe I do need to know some stuff. So that's typically where we're on this quest for knowledge, and I was at that point where I'm like, okay, I need to learn. I didn't really know what I needed to learn, but I need to learn. And I'm browsing everywhere on the internet. I quit my job, so I have like 12 hours a day to do whatever I want to do. And that's where I came across an article in FX Trader magazine, which I was featured in a few times, which is pretty cool. I think I wrote about 4 or 5 articles for FX Trader magazine. I love to write. I miss kind of doing that type of stuff. But I found an article featuring my mentor, Jason Stapleton, and it was about a trading competition that he won, right? So first I'm reading and I'm like, okay, this guy, or not one, I think it was third place runner-up. So I'm reading this article about, hey, this guy did this trading competition and how he did it and blah, 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 blah. And the point that got me, and this is how you can tell I wasn't like a get rich quicker, the point that really made me trust Jason, and I think this is probably the reason you guys trust us so much over here. At the end of the article, he said, here's what's important to remember. I traded this aggressive style simply because it was a competition. I would never trade this way, this aggressively with my real money. And that was the first time I've heard someone say that, right? Everyone else on the internet is like, oh yeah, I do this with real money, blah, 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 super aggressive, right? This is the first person saying like, no, like, that's dumb. Don't be that aggressive with real money. The only reason I was this aggressive was because it was a competition and the goal was to make as much money as possible. So anyway, I go and follow his link and find this stuff. And he's got this cool trader assessment on his website. So I take the trader assessment. I never expect to hear back, right? I just got nothing to do during the day because, again, I'm unemployed and learning how to trade. So I fill out this trader assessment, blah, 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 blah. And then I remember that night I get a call. And this is where it's like divine intervention or whatever like that, right? I never, especially at the time, I never answer numbers that I don't know, right? Now, because it's all, right, scam likely. Back then, right, because it was bill collectors, right? And my whole thing was like, if I don't answer, I don't have to pay. So I'm like, oh no, I saw this number come up. Electric bill, shoot. What is it, trash, sewer? Oh, they're shutting me down, or they couldn't evict me. I owned the house, but I was scared. So I answered the phone for some odd reason. Because I'm telling you, when I say I never answer numbers I don't know, I never answer them. But someone pushed my hand to answer that phone, and I answered it. And I'm talking to Jason, and he's going over my trade evaluation with me. And he's going through the part, we get to the part where we do all the small talk. We get to the part where he's like, okay, explain your rules for trading. And I'm like, shoot, I don't have any rules. But of course, I'm not going to let him know it, right? What would you guys do? Would you tell the truth or would you lie? Be honest. Well, yeah, if you guys are saying you're liars, then why do I expect you to be honest? You liars, right? I'm young. I'm like, I'm embarrassed. Like, rules. I had no idea you needed rules for trading. I was like, I just hop on the chart and feel it, baby. I feel it. Did I feel my pockets get lighter? But that's just because the market was against me. So he's asking me these rules, and I'm not lying, but I don't actually have rules. I just have kind of ideas. So I'm like, yeah, I trade breakouts. When the market breaks out, I get in. He's like, okay, well, how do you know when it's a breakout? I said, what do you mean? When it breaks out. Duh. Like, simple answer. He's like, so if I'm looking at a chart with you, how do I know it's a breakout? How do I know it's actually going to break out or a false breakout? Like, does it need to do something specific? I'm like, yeah, it does. He's like, what? I'm like, and so I just start making up everything I can think about. Yeah, it needs to have an aggressive close. He's like, well, what's an aggressive close? Darn it. I'm like, So like, I keep giving him these BS answers. And he keeps like calling me out on them. And I imagine, I felt like a boxer in the corner, right? Just getting pummeled by his opponent. And we're doing this. And then finally, like, he winds back for like the final haymaker. Like, he's just gonna, shut my lights out. And before he hits me, he says, okay, let's cut the BS. You don't have rules, do you? And I'm like, no. And I totally break down. It's crazy. So this is why I always like the torture thing. Like, I finally had enough. And I break down, let my defenses down, and it was at that point I was open. It was cool because that was the first point I was actually, I was self-aware to realize, like, I don't know this stuff. Like, I don't know what it takes to be a consistently profitable trader. And I'm a very stubborn person. So it took kind of being punched and broken to accept that. And once I accept that, I was willing to accept training. Like, he didn't sell me on any courses, but I told myself, like, because again, the whole time I'm telling myself, like, I never asked for help my entire life. I just work at something until it works. Like, that's just my MO. And I kind of knew I needed help, but I didn't want to admit it because I'm very stubborn. And this was the first time where my defenses were so broken that I sat there and I'm like, I need help. Like, I need a coach. I need a mentor. I need someone to help me with this. I cannot do it by myself. And that was the start of my journey. Very rocky journey after that, obviously. It wasn't like, this isn't one of those movies where it's like, oh yeah, and I signed up for a course and I was profitable the next day. No, it was like another year and a half of struggles and stubbornness and anger and more self-realization. But it was a cool moment. And that was the first moment I realized, like, what it took to be a consistently profitable trader and what I needed to do to be a consistently profitable trader. It's a cool moment. So yeah, I don't know how torture led to that, but yeah. George, sit him down, strap him up, torture him until they tell you the truth. Hey, if you have any torturous stories or maybe rough lessons that you learned along your path of becoming a consistently profitable trader, maybe you're not there yet and you're going through the torture right now, feel free to share. I'd love to hear it, and our community would as well. If you're listening on Spotify, just leave it under the Q&A section. I'll see it, share it, and make it public. That way others can see too. If you're listening on YouTube, just leave it in the normal comment section below. All right, thank you guys for checking out the show. And as always, until next time, plan your trade, trade your plan. Take care.